trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It is another brutally hot day out there today, officially in our 4th day of a heat wave. So we take a live look outside right now with our sky cam. No clouds even in the sky for some brief shade, Chelsea.
No, I know. It's nice and bright outside today. We're looking at full sunshine, and that's the case really for the next couple of days. Our temperature right now in Providence sitting at 90 degrees. The nice break today is that our dew point is significantly lower than yesterday. Yesterday we had dew points well into the 70s. It was incredibly uncomfortable outside, and typically we go by kind of a 60-degree marker as to when we start to feel a bit more humid. And our dew point right now in Providence is at 61. It's dropped a lot since early this morning with that breeze coming in from the west. So yes, it's hot. Yes, there's still a bit of a muggy feel, but it is better in terms of humidity levels compared to yesterday. Our temperatures themselves mostly in the mid to upper 80s range, but officially 90 at TF Green Airport puts us in our 4th day of a heat wave. And along the coastline where humidity levels are a bit higher, that heat index value is warmer than the actual temps, feeling closer to 90 degrees in spots like Westerly and Newport and Block Island. So a hot and muggy day outside, but again, a little bit less humid than yesterday. And that's because we had a cold front come through, had a few clouds and showers early this morning out towards the Cape, the last of that front pushing well offshore, and we have perfect sunshine continuing through the afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 90s range. We have a warm and muggy night ahead of us, and those humidity levels climb over the weekend. A heat advisory goes back into place for tomorrow. I'll have much more in just a few minutes. Doreen?
Chelsea, thank you. And the city of Providence is extending the opening of city cooling centers and water parks through Sunday now as we deal with this oppressive heat. Cooling centers were originally only offering extra hours through today. And for a list of all the cooling centers, pool hours, etc. across our area, we have a list on our website. That's abc6.com. And the 2022 Newport Folk Festival is underway at Fort Adams State Park. Thousands of festival goers from all across the country making their way right here to Newport to watch dozens of musicians and bands perform live. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Trigelis tells us how everyone is trying to stay cool.
Lines here at the Newport Folk Festival continuing to build throughout the morning and into the afternoon as we get underway. And under some extreme heat with scorching temperatures continuing to rise, festival goers tell me they're trying to keep cool this weekend by staying hydrated, applying sunscreen, and trying to find the coolest spots on the grounds. The 2022 Newport Folk Festival getting underway in the midst of a heat wave across Rhode Island. Thousands taking to Fort Adams State Park to watch more than 50 bands and musicians like the Bleachers and the Roots perform.
Looking forward to being back at the fort. I missed the last 2 years because of COVID.
With temperatures continuing to soar near 90 degrees this weekend, festival goers being warned to stay hydrated and keep cool. The Department of Environmental Management saying air quality in the area is expected to reach unhealthy levels Friday.
I've seen a lot of people through the years, they can wind up with a heat stroke out here.
The DEM also saying it will restrict access to boaters and pedestrians on piers and docks, as well as restricting public access to the state park along walking and biking trails. Festival goers allowed to bring empty, refillable water bottles with them inside the festival, many of them taking advantage of that, as well as offering other tips and tricks to stay safe from the heat.
They always say there's no such thing as bad weather, only poor planning. So I try to just make sure I stay hydrated, keep reapplying sunscreen.
Brought some bandanas, like if we want to wet them, keep them cool, keep them around our necks.
Keeping cool in this heat wave, especially important for those bringing their toddlers this weekend.
One of the reasons we get here early is to try to get some quality shade spots. Stay in the shade, get under the tents, and love the water stations as well.
The Folk Festival running from today all the way through the weekend until Sunday, and tickets have been sold out since January. Many of these festival goers have been waiting to come here for 2 years now since COVID first started. And again, with this extreme heat throughout the weekend, festival goers saying they're going to be reapplying sunscreen and staying hydrated so they can keep cool and enjoy the show. Reporting in Newport, Yanni Trigelis, ABC6 News.
All right, Yanni, thank you. And new at noon today, Cumberland Police releasing an update today on the deaths of a couple back in June. The Hords both found dead of gunshot wounds in their Birchwood Drive home. Chief Benson says the investigation determined that 51-year-old Eric Horde shot and killed his wife, 42-year-old Courtney, before killing himself. There were 3 children who were home at the time. None of them were hurt. A food service truck rolled over on 95 in Warwick this morning, tying up traffic all over during the morning commute. The driver has only minor injuries. The crash was at exit 15 on 95 South in Warwick, but it backed up traffic through Providence, even bringing cars to a stop on 195. And if your Verizon cell phone wouldn't make calls overnight and early this morning, you weren't alone. Verizon tells us an issue during scheduled overnight upgrades caused some customers to lose the ability to make and receive calls. One viewer told us on Facebook that she was unable to make an important phone call to her parents, but luckily text messaging was working for her. Verizon says the problem was resolved around 5 o'clock this morning. And now to an ABC6 News update. The 9-year-old little boy who was pulled from the water at Easton's Beach on Tuesday has died. A GoFundMe from his family says that the young boy was caught in a rip current. He was pulled from the water and lifeguards performed CPR. Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed will be in Providence today to discuss a drug pricing bill making its way through Congress. The bill puts a cap on out-of-pocket prescription costs and empowers Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Medicare accounts for 1/3 of the country's prescription drug spending. The Senate will try to pass the bill through budget reconciliation. On Monday, the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation is expected to vote on the future of the Tidewater Landing project. The Tidewater project looks to bring a soccer stadium, restaurants, and housing to the city of Pawtucket. Earlier this year, city leaders and the developer were looking for millions more from the state, blaming rising inflation costs. Secretary of Commerce Liz Tanner says she believes the project is important for Pawtucket and the state. Rhode Island Energy wants customers to know their electric bills this winter may cost more than last year. Normally, electric bill prices go down in the winter, but this season, the rising cost of natural gas is also raising electricity supply costs. Rhode Island Energy says that some customers could see an electric bill increase of $52 a month this winter. And in national headlines today, President Joe Biden in isolation after testing positive for COVID-19. The positive diagnosis coming less than a day after the president returned from a visit to Somerset, Mass. The president says he is experiencing mild symptoms and is working from the White House residence. Staff has now been reduced out of a precaution. He is vaccinated and double boosted, but is also taking the antiviral drug Paxlovid, given his age.
I think it's the right thing to do for anybody who's at elevated risk as defined by the CDC FDA, which basically is anyone over the age of 50, anybody under 50 who's got chronic diseases. I actually think a broad swath of Americans who are getting infected should be getting Paxlovid. The president, of course, no exception.
Contact tracing is underway now, including with Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey. Both were on Air Force One with the president for his Massachusetts visit. They have both tested negative. Still to come here on ABC6 News at noon, the January 6th committee hearing as lawmakers examine former President Trump's actions and failure to act minute by minute as the Capitol riot unfolded. And later, less square footage for your real estate dollars, how interest rates are affecting what people can buy. In political news, the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection with a powerful argument to the American people last night. The panel providing video outtakes of President Trump struggling to condemn his violent supporters and admit his election loss just one day after the attack. ABC's Jay O'Brien reports.
The House Select Committee investigating the deadly Capitol attack, telling a primetime audience former President Trump made a, quote, choice to violate his oath of office. The committee says Trump watched the riot unfold on TV in a White House dining room. Lifelong Republican members of his administration testifying they pleaded with Trump to step in, but he waited 187 minutes as the peaceful transfer of power was under siege before telling his supporters to go home.
And on January 6th, Donald Trump turned their love of country into a weapon against our Capitol and our Constitution.
The committee playing never-before-seen outtakes from this video, recorded a day after the insurrection. Trump struggling to criticize the rioters and unable to admit he lost the election.
This election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over.
Lawmakers focusing on what they call Trump's refusal to respond to the Capitol attack, never calling military leaders or law enforcement for help, even as rioters threatened the life of his own vice president, Mike Pence, and those charged with keeping him safe. The committee revealing anxious radio traffic from Pence's Secret Service detail.
You got smoke downstairs, pet line.
An anonymous White House official identified as a national security professional testifying they heard Secret Service agents over the radio in fear for their lives.
There were calls to say goodbye to family members.
But that day, Trump tweeting this, accusing Pence of lacking courage for not refusing to certify Joe Biden's Electoral College victory as Trump demanded. Former Deputy White House Press Secretary Sarah Matthews saying the former president was pouring gasoline on a fire.
He should have been telling these people to go home and to leave.
Even after his supporters were driven from the Capitol, the committee saying Trump was unrepentant when speaking with a White House employee.
President Trump said nothing to the employee about the attack. He said only, quote, Mike Pence let me down.
Last night, Trump and GOP allies lashed out at Sarah Matthews, who still works on the Republican staff of a congressional committee. Trump saying he didn't know her, a frequent claim of his. Meanwhile, the January 6th committee is promising this will not be their last hearing and that they will be back in September. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
And still to come on ABC6 News at noon, the latest from the FCC on efforts to block those annoying out-of-warranty robocalls. And we'll get more on the weekend heat, Chelsea's full forecast when we return. Back now with your consumer news today. Potential home buyers are getting less home for their money. With interest rates likely to go up again next week, the cost of borrowing is sharply higher. Real estate data company Redfin says that, for example, a $2,000 a month mortgage last year could have gotten buyers a 1,300 square foot home in Seattle. Now it'll buy a 950 square foot apartment. And the government is cracking down on robocall scams, promoting car warranties. The FCC is ordering phone companies to block the illegal calls. The agency says it'll be monitoring to make sure they comply. 6 companies have been linked to more than 8 billion warranty robocalls since 2018.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Well, the heat continues across southern New England. We are looking at the view over Block Island right now. A nice, pretty afternoon out there. Another day with kind of hazy sunshine, muggy conditions for our coastal locations, and those temperatures coming up well into the 80s at the beaches today. Another day with a moderate rip risk at our beaches. So if you are heading to the beach really through the weekend, you want to be cautious. The wave heights have been high. The rip current risk has been elevated. Just use caution. Pay attention to what the lifeguards are saying, because it can get swept away pretty quickly. It can get dangerous very quickly. So if you're getting in the water to cool down, not a bad idea to use a little extra caution. For us at TF Green Airport, we officially have a heat wave. We hit 90 degrees at 11 a.m. and we have a forecasted high into the mid-90s this afternoon. 93 on Tuesday, 96 on Wednesday, 93 on Thursday, 94 for a high expected later this afternoon. And that heat is going to continue through the weekend. Now, so far we haven't broken any records. Looking ahead to Saturday and Sunday, we may get close to some record highs, especially on Sunday. So that heat may actually be breaking some records in terms of such a long stretch of 90 degrees or higher. Right now, it's looking like it's a pretty surefire bet that we have 6 days in a row of 90 degrees or higher, which has only happened 5 other times at TF Green Airport. And potentially on Monday, we hit 90 degrees. And if that's the case, it's a full week, 7 days of 90 degrees or higher. And that's only happened 4 other times in history at TF Green Airport. So a long stretch of heat and not something that we see all that often. As we head into next week, the temperatures come down into the mid to upper 80s with our next chance of rain sometime Monday into Tuesday. But even at that, temperatures still above average. Sitting at 90 degrees in Providence right now, mid 80s for Westerly, for Newport, for Block Island at the moment. The dew points for our inland spots have dropped significantly from yesterday and from this morning. This morning, all of us had dew points in the low 70s. It was really humid to start the day. Now, a cold front has come through, and that's allowed our dew points to drop just a little bit. It's still warm, it's still muggy outside, but it's not quite as uncomfortable as it was yesterday. One exception is going to be along your coastline, where we're looking at temperatures that are in the 80s range, but dew points are still in the upper 60s range. So it's still pretty sticky for our coastal locations. Satellite radar image shows you that front actually pushing through with some clouds and some showers from overnight and early this morning. At this point, high pressure coming into control. And that means we have sunshine through the day today. We can kind of zoom through your future cast because overnight we stay partly clear. Expect some coastal fog at the beach both tomorrow and on Sunday. So if you're making Saturday or Sunday a beach day, there may be some fog in the morning to burn off. But once it does burn off, full sunshine expected. Same thing Sunday as we head into Sunday evening. Breeze picks up a bit. And again on Monday, especially later in the day, our next chance of some rain. Mid-90s outside today, again 80s at the beaches, but it's feeling a bit warmer than the actual temp because it is muggy outside, not quite as humid as yesterday. Overnight, that muggy factor starts to go up, and tomorrow, a hot, humid day. I have a forecasted high of 96. The record for tomorrow is 97, so we'll be watching that closely. With the high heat, with the high humidity for Saturday and Sunday, the heat advisory goes back in place. So we're looking at that heat advisory for tomorrow and for Sunday, beginning tomorrow morning. So it's another couple of days that you really need to just use some common sense, stay hydrated, take some frequent breaks, find the AC. Don't do strenuous things outdoors, and check on the elderly, the little kids, the pets. Anybody who may not be able to necessarily use that common sense, you know,
absolutely.
that may need a little extra help with this heat and humidity.
Yeah, this is one of those times where we're going to get through this all together,
Yes,
right?
That's for sure. We're all in it.
For a few more days.
No option.
All right.
No option
Yes,
otherwise.
that's right. All right, Chelsea, thank you. Coming up next at noon, Rhode Island rapper Flawless returns home from the road, ready to perform at a free concert this weekend. And the big weekend ahead for Big Papi. Details on his Hall of Fame induction. In entertainment news, it is a special summer at Roger Williams Park, celebrating 150 years. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, they certainly have a lot going on. Aside from tonight's popular Food Truck Fridays, First Works is presenting the kickoff to their Summer Beats concert series on Sunday. It'll be a homecoming of sorts for Rhode Island rapper Flawless. He rose to international acclaim after his successful run on the Netflix reality show Rhythm and Flow, telling us he still keeps in touch with a couple of the show's judges, Cardi B and T.I. He also tells us he's working on a new album on his new label, which offers a unique streaming experience for fans.
We also have the We The label, where we're allowing fans to buy into the streaming rights of the music, so the fans are now winning with us, you know, making money with us.
So they literally make money when they stream a Flawless song?
Absolutely.
That's
so
revolutionary.
fans, yeah, so fans now have the opportunity to buy streaming rights to certain songs that we put out, and when the song gets streamed, the fan gets paid.
Flawless will be performing live at Roger Williams Park this Sunday night at 6. It's a free show, open to all ages. Well, Big Papi David Ortiz being inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame this weekend. The Hall of Fame ceremony set for Sunday. Ortiz, the only modern-era player voted in this year. And Big Papi's longtime teammate and protection in the Sox order is coming to Rhode Island. Manny Ramirez will be the Grand Marshal of the parade for the Dominican Festival of Rhode Island next month. The parade and festival are on August 7th. Manny and Ortiz both have sons playing for the Brockton Rucks summer baseball team this year. Well, next at noon, $2 to win $660 million. The facts and figures behind tonight's record-breaking Mega Millions jackpot. And Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. Well, the Mega Millions jackpot just keeps growing. It is now up to $660 million. If someone wins this, it would be the third largest prize in Mega Millions history. The cash option, just a cool $376.9 million. The drawing is tonight at 11, and I know you're wondering, Chelsea, so your odds of winning are 1 in 302.5 million.
Okay, so you're saying there's a chance.
Thank you for getting my reference. Yes.
Yes.
Well, listen, if we're going to get to a 6-day heat wave potentially, we're feeling lucky.
I know, and I talked, you know, a lot of the records from this week were in the 100-degree range, but the weekend records are in the 90s. So
well, there you go.
We'll see. We'll get close. It looks like Sunday, at least. Sunday's record is 94 degrees. Easy, right? We're looking at the humidity building over the weekend. Heat advisory back in place for Saturday and Sunday. Today's a little bit less humid than yesterday, but those humidity levels come up through the weekend, and we stay hot into next week.
All right. Look out for each other.
Yes.
That's going to do it for us for now. Thanks for joining us. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day, everybody.